Hey guys, KS Diver here. We're gonna give you some Mira Strats over the next couple videos, and kind of show you what I do. I have hundreds of hours with Mira. I've watched some other people's videos on Mira window placement, and I was kind of disappointed. I was looking for inspiration on some of the new maps and reworks and whatnot, and yeah, I was a little disappointed because I disagree fundamentally with a lot of what they were saying. So I'm going to change things up a little bit and try to give you a more my goal is to give you a safer perspective on Mira, less dangerous ways to do this, and ideas on how team composition can greatly impact the effectiveness of your Mira windows. Okay, alright, so first up, with the setup of this Mira strategy here on the top floor of Cafe, I'm going to do a standing hard wall Mira and a crouching soft wall. Now, my first fundamental problem with other people's videos on Mira window strategies is everybody opts for this. The hard wall with the Mira window placed on it, and the strategy, if this painting wasn't in the way, is to strafe peek. And I do not like this. I can do it, I don't like it though. And the reason is because it's not as quick and it's not as accurate. Now, it's hard to tell with this painting glitching in the way, but here, if you see somebody over here and you're trying to strafe peek them, there is a spot right here where you lose sight of them and it takes too long. Also, you're vulnerable from everything to your side. I opt for, in almost all of the places that I put Mira windows, a crouching Mira strap. Now, it's probably going to take you a long time if you're not used to it already. It took me a very long time with Mira to figure out where you need to aim at a person's body according to the range of your target to where you need to aim when you pop up. So, for example, head's probably going to be right there. The ping's a little high. But I'm aiming about the crotch right here, right? Headshot. Headshot. And, I mean, I'm going slow. This is... How are they going to defend against that? I don't need to be able to see them while I'm shooting. I can see them while I'm coming up. The amount of time that you lose sight of the target anyway, if you were to sit right here, is less than if you were leaning it. But I pre-aim on his crotch right there. Boom. With the Mira's gun, with the recoil the way it is, if you are on the body, probably getting a headshot through the softball. They're pre-aiming right here. Probably not going to kill you before you kill them. And I've had so much success with this, and I just can't believe how underrated it is. Now, I understand there's some risks, and I'm going to go into that in a second. But let's talk about lines of sight here. So, as you can see, I have this blown open. Mira's shotgun is ass. So, I usually have a teammate impact that, and then somebody with a, maybe with more impacts or a different shotgun loadout. A lot of times, we're going to talk a lot about Maestro in this video. If Maestro wants to roll his shotgun, or his revolver shotgun, that's fine. Then I'll blow this out nice and good, easy. It doesn't work so well with Mira shotgun. It's just not good. And with this is blown out as much as it would be if I were playing a ranked game with my friends, I'm going to be able to see all the way up to here the default plant spot. And if they do decide to try to plant over here kind of super sleuth, this is going to be blown open too. And I'm going to have a shot on that. And so I have this line of sight. Also, with Maestro on my team, he's going to put a camera right here. And he's going to be looking across. Anytime that I hear his camera going off, I know that with the risks involved, I have the possibility, if maybe I know they're in a gunfight with one of my teammates in Christmas Tree or something, I have an opportunity to go over here and put pressure on them and likely get a kill. And it's very effective when they can't see you, they don't worry about you, you got this giant pillar in the way. All of a sudden they're getting shot with the Maestro cam. They're aiming down if they're aiming over here in the first place. Bam. And it's a long shot with a gun that has a lot of jump at that range, but once you get used to this gun, it is very easy to control. So basically, with the lines of sight that I currently have at these windows, I can cover the entire bomb site and at the very least give a call out about the default plant to my team. If I need to watch Freezer, I can, and I can give call outs to my team from here safely. I can even yeet a C4 into there. That's pretty effective. Freezer isn't the strongest point, but it's manageable. And like I said, this is all about team comp based on Mira strategies. You're basing your defense off of Mira strategies. My team is going to be placed in certain positions or covering certain areas. The call out is what they need from me, and I'll get the kill if I can. But let's talk about something like team comp. So, in order to alleviate the risks, some of the risks, or at least reduce them, you're gonna have a lot of people up here. Ashes throwing crap at me. I'm gonna see flashbangs. I might even see Hibana charges from over here. And those are dangerous to me because one window, if this window goes, I'm in a little bit of trouble. If this window goes, I'm in more trouble. But if both of them go, I'm screwed. So Hibana is dangerous. And especially the soft breachers like Zofia and Ash are dangerous for this type of window. And I really don't like the guys that are doing these videos and they say, you know, somebody in the comments goes, oh, well, what about a fuse from the window behind you? And the guy will just say, oh, well, in my experience, people don't usually pick fuse. Well, I don't think that way. What if they do pick fuse? Am I just dead because I bet against a statistical anomaly, which it isn't? So, we're going to cover that here. You're going to need something like I prefer a whammy on this site. You don't have to have a Jaeger. Jaeger's good though, but I prefer a whammy. And whammy's just he's going to launch some of these things over here. For me, as Mira, that's really the only place I need him, because those cover such a huge area. Most of the junk is going to be coming through this area and from Skylight. And the whammies will take care of that. The other thing that I'm going to need on most of these Mira strats, and thankfully Magic Man, that dude, he plays Maestro often. I'm going to need a Maestro camera, and that Maestro cam is probably going to go about right here. I don't know exactly where he puts it every time because he plays him. I don't tell him where to set his stuff. He's the master. I'm just telling him what I need, and I say, I need you to be able to destroy utilities off of my windows like Hibana's. Check. He's always got it. Just give him a call out. Hey, Hibana's on my window. Hibana's on my window. Switches to his cam. If he says he can't do it at the moment, I might be risking a C4 toss right here. A lot of times that'll get it off if you still have it. And I lost my C4. Anyway, as far as the fuse risk goes, or anybody on the for that matter on these windows, what I like to do is take out a tiny portion of that window that isn't going to hurt me and blow out the glass. That's going to allow sound propagation through this window much more efficiently than before. And you're going to hear that guy repel. You might even be able to tell sometimes whether he's coming from top to bottom or bottom to top. You're definitely going to hear a fuse get placed. I don't mind doing that to this window either. Although this window is not as risky. This is more for my teammates. Now, aside from that, your biggest risk in this site, and this is one of the better sites for risks, is Whitehall. What I'm going to need from my teammates, and what I always have, is a shield. Deployable shield, and I wish they wouldn't have taken it away from me, but at least I get to carry my C4 every round now. I mean, it seemed like for a while there, I'd pick a shield, I needed a C4. I'd pick C4, I should have had a shield. Now a teammate takes care of it, and I don't have to worry about it. I always have C4. So the shield placement, I'm going to put it like right there. I don't want it all the way up against this wall. The reason is, I have a nice little peak angle right here between that shield for one. Second of all, A lot of times if I'm getting pushed from Whitehall, the defense is broke down a little bit, and I might be getting pushed from over here too. Or I might be getting pushed from that window. What happens if there's a guy at that window and you get a call out there's someone coming from Whitehall? You can't stand up against this with a shield right up against that wall. If you do, you're going to get killed from the window. I need to be able to move up and back off. Now, I'm directly behind that shield. I can still see part of my window, and I still have almost a 360-degree field of information that I can get with a turn. That shield saved me a lot. A lot of times, too, that default plan will go in over here if we lose white stairs. Eat that C4, baby. So, if that breaks down, and say you don't have that shield, the next thing I like to do, make sure this is broken. By the way, it's not bad to make sure that one's broken too, so you can shoot through there. Everybody does it. We've all died from that spot. It's annoying. Mira can do it too. If everything else is broken down, I can sit right here. This is my last fallback. I can peek here. I can still see my windows to an extent. I can peek people. I can still throw C4s from here. I can get great sound information from this side. You'd be surprised. I can hear when they're in. I can hear when they're taking footsteps. If I still have my C4, I can throw it. If not, my head's on a swivel. I might hug this side a little closer so I don't have to worry about this over here. It's all about situations. That's pretty much it. I need the whammy. I need the maestros. And I need a deployable shield. Whammy has a shield. So Whammy can take care of two of those for you. Maestro has the impacts. He can blow up those tables for you. And with those two operators, you're good to go on this site. I usually have somebody holding the white stair area, somewhere around here, trying to hold Christmas tree. But with this mirror setup, I can take away most of... I can take away my teammates' pressure to have to defend this. All they have to do is defend me. So that's what we're looking at for this site. It's very strong, but kitchen is by far my favorite. We'll snap to that next. Alright, here we are here in the kitchen. We're going to set up our mirrors on two separate walls. As Mira, you only need your two barricades and your two windows, and you're good to go. You are going to need a little help from your team comp again. This window, I'm going to put as far to the right as I can, and we'll see why here in a second. This window, I prefer to have this more in the middle, but you can move it a little bit to the left if you want more sight of the front door. But I like it just fine right here. I don't mind people being right here and not being able to see them. It's not a problem for me. So we're going to blow this out so that we can throw C4s. So let's talk about these lines of sight. First off, we got this front entrance in Bakery, and a lot of times that'll be hard, but if it's soft, either way, a lot of times they'll push this with a hard breacher, or if it's soft, they'll get through it some way. A lot of times, for this person that's coming at you from this door to feel safe, they're going to hide behind this area right here. They're dead. Also, with that Bakery line of sight, I usually have a teammate open these up for me, probably my maestro with the bailiff. And I'm going to open these up a little bit so that I can see them. And the reason is because when people come through this window, which they do often, and they see that mirror window, or they've already droned it out, they're going to do one of two things. They're going to rush into this corner, and now they're trapped. Or they're going to rush in back here. I got tons of sight right here to shoot them from my mirror window, or throw a C4. That's an easier throw, actually. So I have plenty of coverage on that bakery side. Now this window's a little trickier and a little more risky because you don't want to blow too much of it up, especially down here towards the bottom. Because if I'm at this window and I get pushed back and I have to fall back to here because of frag grenades, I'm getting shot in the feet, somebody pushes over here, for whatever reason, if I blow too much of this out, now look what I gotta deal with. I have to deal with this right here, and this isn't fun to deal with. This is probably, for me, one of the most frustrating lines of sight for this Mira Strat, because this shot is very difficult to hit. The color is weird, operators blend in with the background, their heads are protected by all this, you can't shoot through the spokes there. It's just a pain in the ass unless they come out. But even then, the reason this crouch strat isn't quite as powerful on here is ultimately because they have an angle of sight on you that is no longer advantageous to you. What I mean is when you're crouch peeking, they're seeing your head faster because they have an upward angle or downward angle on you. With that being said, I still get tons of kills from red stairs. It happens. So you also got this line of sight over here. You cannot see all of that, and sometimes that's frustrated me a little bit because I'm trying to help my team, you know, with rotations coming from this side. But you're going to be very strong on that window. The problem is with this is right over here. If they're up against the wall like this, you have a great line of sight now. You can yeet a C4 to probably about right here, I think. And I've gotten kills that way. But a lot of times, by the time they're pushing over here, it's because I've gotten a C4 2 in Cafe, and they don't want to push that anymore. And so, they're pushing this over here now. And if they come even in the middle of the doorway, I can't see them. It's very difficult without exposing myself a lot. And a lot of times, they're going to be holding this like this. So, that's a little bit of a weakness. If your defense breaks down and they start to push this over here, you got a couple options. But it's crunch time. You're looking at a clutch, most likely. If they're pushing from over here, and you get that call out, and you can't see them, and you don't have a C4 anymore, even if you do have a C4, that's not a terrible option, but be careful. You must understand that when you do this, if you throw that C4 on that wall and you blow it, you just lost any cover that you had behind you if these are still intact and they push this way again. You have a little bit of cover here, you have cover here, but now I'm limited to what I can see with my rear window. I'm constantly going to be watching my back, and I don't want to be doing that. I want to feel safe, like a snowflake. So you can wall bang them, get the call out, hopefully have some kind of camera in here. Anyway, those are the lines of sight. We'll try to speed this along. I know this video is going to be a little longer than I want it to be. Let's talk about team composition. Once again, a whammy's good, but on this one, either or will do. I probably want a Jaeger because Jaeger's so strong, and they're safer on this map, on this site. So you can put a Jaeger over here, or you can put it right here. Doesn't matter. And I usually ask for a second one over here. That way, they have to commit even further from this side. See, if they destroy this one right here, they have to commit even further to kill that. It just gives me more time to play with to kill them. The other thing I'll do right here comes Maestro again. Maestro and Mira, I tell you what, they are quite the pair. They both have high fire rate guns. Recoil is extremely manageable. They're a lot of fun together. I'll usually have him put a Maestro to cover these windows off. This window, obviously. So he'll usually put it somewhere around right there. They won't even see that it's there. They'll throw a Habana on it. I've even had thermites come and put a thermite on this wall, and I couldn't see him. I just couldn't quite hit him out of C4. And he just sits there with his camera and waits. And as soon as that thing's planted, he shoots it off. Easy peasy, you know? So, team comp, I'm looking for a Jaeger and a Maestro. The bonus to having a whammy instead of a Jaeger is you have that shield again. So somebody else can give me a shield if they've got it. Where I'm going to want to put that shield is somewhere around here, just about as far left as you can. I'm looking at this line of sight right here from where I'm standing, for the most part. I have a little bit of cover right here, but my head's exposed. I do not usually want to be right up against my window because you're most vulnerable to getting shot in the feet. So they put that shield right here. You can see them rotating. You know they're coming. Now you have cover. Now you have slits, essentially, just like your mirror window, where you can see and you can pop up. Now, the absolute most vulnerable spot in this mirror setup is right here and right here. They're going to start blowing up this floor with bucks and ash charges, Ophias, whatever. Fuse you. It's going to start to get kind of hectic. So that's where it's good to have roamers upstairs, putting pressure on those guys, delaying them as long as possible from putting pressure on you. if they do start to pop this stuff, once again, it's great to have Jaegers because they're going to start throwing stuff at you. I've had success right here. Again, you got to watch out for this now, so don't blow that out too much. I've had success from right here because of this right here. You can, if they pop this, I can sit over here, I can cover my head, I can peek them, and this is protecting me. Same thing over here. I can stand back if I need to, and that thing will cover me. But let's be honest, it is not fun once they start attacking up above. The round's looking kind of dire if they get to that point and your roamers are dead and can't go get them for you. The second most dangerous spot to get attacked from in this strategy is probably the most common, is right here. Now because you can cover all of bakery, small bakery, red stairs, and part of this hallway, and this, with your mirror, just by yourself, your team can mostly sit and roam above you, and hold this with Bandit or whoever, and somebody can hold that, and you can mitigate this risk for the most part. But if you lose Freezer, it's going to be a shit show. Just letting you know. Just know that statistically, it seems like a lot of times people crouch behind that. So I'm usually aiming right here. The climb on her gun will lead you to their head if they're not. So, for me, that's about all I can think of right now for this spot. I'm sure I'm leaving out a few things, but let's go to the next site. Alright, here we are in reading room, and as you can see, I've got my mirrors set up on the south wall, looking at the other objective. You've probably seen this before. I'm going to explain it and what my personal strategies to this are. So, what I've got here is I've got full view of the entire A site. People repel on this, easy to kill. I'm basically covering all of A site without any of my teammates being in that vulnerable room. Usually that'll be barricaded. I don't recommend barricading those two right there. The reason is because they might be able to long arm it and get a diffuser in. I'm probably going to see it from right there, but if that wall's not all the way blown up, I might not see it. There might be too much going on. What I want is for them to have to make noise and blow those spots up in order to long arm it and try to plant. And it's going to make it easier on me. And if there's a camera in there, it's going to make it easier on a teammate to call that out, and I can throw a C4, shoot it, whatever. Now, the reason I have this over here instead of up here, go ahead and put this down, as far to the left as possible, which I didn't do. And anyway, I can safely sit over here, and I can still see that it's vulnerable either side you put it on when you stand up, when you have a crouch window right beside it. But at least I can stand up here. If they're shooting my feet, I can still sit here and I'll be safe. The other reason is because you're more vulnerable if you have a standing right here. Imagine I have a standing window right here and this is blown out. This spot right here at this 90 is extremely dangerous for me because the only way to not get shot is to sit right here and look over there, which opens me up to white stairs. So this is my preferred setup. You got your primary, you got your backup for safety. If all hell breaks loose, this goes pretty easy. I don't have any more shotgun ammo, but this goes pretty easy, and you can make yourself some little holes right there where you can still see through your window. You saw me hit this twice earlier. That's because sound propagation is going to help me out even more, even though I've got this all blown up. But mainly because if I get fused or a grenade or Capital somehow gets a firebolt up here, that's going to come to the ground. It gives me a chance to run away. And sure, they can shoot me through that, but they can't see me. And their shots aren't going to be as accurate. I've never died from it. Even on like a 1v4, I've managed to get over here. This is where the team comp comes in. You're going to want a shield right here. That way you can sit in this corner. This will be barricaded. And by the way, all of that will be barricaded. Hopefully you'll be able to have a Cade or a Bandit over here. But I don't hardly ever see people blow that. But I'm not going to be a hypocrite. They could. And so you're going to want something to mitigate that. It doesn't mean you have to play a Cade, which would be safest. It means you have somebody roaming up here, or somebody sitting over here, or somebody coming down from below here, so that when I give that call out that, hey, they're blowing this wall, somebody can come up and save my ass. As is the case with most Mira Strats, your main vulnerability is going to be up top. I encourage you to have a teammate playing up above you to at least try to kill some of the people who go up there, and if he fails, hopefully he took one with him, but if he fails, once again, you're gonna have to watch watch above you. It's difficult from this spot, from most spots, to deal with people who are above you. Hopefully they don't open up all this like I just did, but you've got the cam. Hopefully you have some other cams that can kind of warn you. But it's freezer and behind the bar. I have seen some crazy lines of sight where somebody from Skylight can shoot down onto these mirror windows. And if you play a team like that, you better be on your A game, because it's going to be difficult to play mirror in the first place. Let's talk about some of the other team comp here. So to stop somebody from like rappelling on this window, hitting you with a Zofia or an Ashchard, you're going to need Jaeger. I prefer Jaeger in this spot. The reason is because it kind of seems like there's not very many good spots to put it, but they're not bad. If you put a Jaeger right here on the ground, look at what I'm seeing right here. I'm looking over here, I'm checking these. I'm not seeing this Jaeger. It's one of the better spots, and that's going to protect you from most of the trash that's getting thrown at your windows. The other spot that I really like is right here. Now this hatch can be blown, I understand, so you can put it on the wall right here. Whatever Jaeger feels like he wants to do, your Jaeger player should be competent enough to know what a good spot is and what isn't. Just tell him what you need. I need you to protect my windows. Let him figure that out, because ultimately, if you're going to play Mira in a team composition setting, and even if you're the IGL of your team, they're going to need to know what to do without you telling them. Otherwise, you're not going to have time to set your own stuff up. You're going to be busy leading the Indians. So, one right there, one somewhere over here where they can't see it from the window. You're probably going to block a lot of trash. His third one, I don't care where it goes, let him make that decision. Probably over here would be the best spot. So, one thing I want to talk about, and this deals with the other spots too, is operators who just kind of have your number. And for me, it's usually Capital. And that's because his firebolts seem to make it through defenses rather easily. And even if it's not the fire, it's the smoke. So, one of your weaknesses in this spot is going to be smoke. If he's over there, your train and mining defense is fallen, and he throws a smoke bolt right here, a lot of times, I feel like I'm telling my enemies what to do here, but a lot of times the most effective thing to do as a Capital against a Mira is to throw a smoke right in front of their window. That way, it blocks all of the Mira's field of view. Now the Mira doesn't want to know what to do. Mira instinctually wants to play her windows. What does she do? She cover back here, she cover this, it doesn't matter. You can't see what's going on, which is a plant's going down over there probably. So, I would suggest, you keep your C4 for these situations. Obviously, any pick is a good pick, but there's been a lot of times where I used my C4 too early when I probably didn't have to. I could have just shot a guy, and I wish I would have had it for this later on in the round. Keep that in mind from any Mira spot. If you can kill them with your gun, that's good. If you got a group of enemies, the C4 is great, but a lot of the C4 strategies with Mira are plant denial, not necessarily just for fragging. You can of course do what you want with it, there's no right way to do it, but that's what I would suggest in my experience. Make sure when you're doing these Mira strategies, like I said, this isn't going to work in solo queue. You might get a kill or two, but you're going to get overwhelmed because your team isn't playing to defend you. In these Mira team comps, even if they don't realize it, a lot of times they're playing to defend me because I'm defending all of them. You can't do it alone as Mira. You just can't. So, Doesn't matter. You don't have to tell people what to play. But most people, especially if you're in a 5-stack, just want to win. And that's what matters. You don't get elo for getting 15 kills in a match. Just keep that in mind. If you have options in your team composition as far as how many friends you have or whatever, keep that in mind with people who are willing to help you out with this if you are really dedicated to playing Mira. So, anyway, I think that about covers it for this map. I'm not going to go into the mining defense because it's pretty common and I don't really care for it all that much. I mean, usually someone puts a mirror window right here, someone puts a mirror window over here or something. And I just don't like it. It's not one of my spots that I like to be on because all of this is destructible. You're just so vulnerable. People can get into this room from the hallway, shoot you from here. I just don't like it. I try not to go here. In a perfect world, you only gotta choose 3 sites. Those are my 3 sites. If you go to overtime, you can play them over again. If you have any questions, maybe if you try this and somebody counters you and you have problems, let me know in the comments and I will try to answer those questions. Until then, enjoy the view.